In this video, we are going to learn how to conduct a pumping test. To conduct a pumping test, select only those dug wells that have their own water, which means it receives water that is recharged into the aquifer and has been tapped by the dug well. Select two such dug wells that are located nearby, amongst which one is a pumping well and the other is an observation well. 10 to 20 meters should be the distance range between these two dug wells. Please ensure that these dug wells should not be pumped for at least 48 hours before the pumping test. Both the dug wells should have similar depths. Measure latitude and longitude and elevation of both the dug wells using a GPS device. If a GPS device is not available with you, then download the application NoteCam from the Play Store and measure the location details using this or any such app. Now, measure the water levels of both the dug wells by using a meter tape. This water level is called as static water level. Static water level is measured by recording the depth from the top of the dug well wall up to the water level in the well. Do not measure the volume of water present in the dug well. Measure the depth as well as the diameter of these dug wells. Always measure the diameter from the center of the dug well. All these measurements should be noted down in meters. We have to conduct the pumping test on one out of two wells, that is, pumping well. While the water is getting pumped out, we have to observe how does the water level dropping in the pumping well has an impact on the water level of the observation well. To do this, measure the water level in pumping and observation well in every 5-minute interval. Later, note down the pump capacity of the pump installed on the pumping well. Now select a convenient time and start the pumping test. Measure the water levels in pumping well and observation well at every 2 or 5 minutes as per the convenience. The pumping well should be pumped for at least 3 to 6 hours. During this, measure the discharge from the pumping well using a 200-liter barrel or a container of a known volume. Use a stopwatch to note down the time taken to fill up the barrel. Measure the discharge 3 times during the pumping, that is, at the start, at the middle, and towards the end of pumping. Once the last discharge reading is taken, stop the pumping. Measure the water level at this time. After the pumping process, measure the water level rise in both the wells for another 3 to 6 hours. Take measurements of water level at every 5 or 10 minutes interval. Note down all the readings in a diary. The pumping test shows us when the well is pumped how water level has gone down in a particular time and how much time it took for the water to rise at the same height in the well. Now let us see what happens in the aquifer when a well is pumped. Along with this, we will also see what happens in other wells when one well from the same aquifer is pumped. The layer of weathered and jointed basalt along with vesicular amygdaloidal basalt forms one aquifer. This aquifer is not limited to only one well, but many wells pump out water from one aquifer. Now, if we pump out water from one dug well from an aquifer, then let us see how it impacts the neighboring dug wells. Let us name these dug wells as A, B, and C. Now, the owner of dug well A has started the pump. As the water level in this dug well starts declining, slowly the aquifer starts releasing the water into the dug well. We call it as inflow of groundwater into the dug well. During the process of water level decline in dug well A, after some time we observe that water levels have slightly declined in adjacent wells B and C. The decline in the water level in both these wells may not be visible to our eyes. Why does it happen? Because A, B and C wells tap the same aquifer. When one well is pumped, the water level in dug wells B and C also goes down. The decline of the water level in dug well A creates a slope in water level, due to which water starts flowing towards dug well A. When the owner of dug well A stops the pump to attain the equilibrium in the water level in the aquifer, water level declines in the neighboring wells. A dug well which pumps out large volume of water is actually pulling water from more than one well. By conducting this pumping test, we can estimate the transmissivity and storativity of the aquifer. To achieve drinking water safety and security, we can use water levels collected from the monitoring wells.